If you're anything like me and you're here in the UK, you're getting seriously fed up of all these storms. It has been one storm after another, and the wind just doesn't seem to want to stop. Now this week, after the last couple of storms, and then we've got another storm today, I'm come up to the allotment to assess any damage that's appeared in the previous storms. But is there a way to try and stormproof your allotment or your growing space as much as what you possibly can? We've been experimenting over the last couple of years. We have an allotment in quite an exposed site, not as exposed as some, but we still get a lot of wind. And this last year, it has been an exceptional windy time here on our allotment. So we decided quite quickly on our allotment, if we were going to build any structures, they needed to be strong. Now, we're not talking about bomb-proof structures or structures that will go against a tornado and survive, or the extremely high forces of storms that we've had over the last few weeks. In fact, some parts of the country have had some of their strongest gusts of wind that they've ever had or on record. But the storm that's hitting us today is about 50 to 60, maybe up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. And we need to make sure that in those conditions, as much of our structures as possible can survive. Now, one of the ways we did this, and we saved money, was by building our own polytunnel structure. We use recycled parts, recycled trampolines, and we have it really heavily weighted with pallets on the bottom. This makes this structure much more heavier and a lot less likely to blow away in the wind. Now, metal structures, polytunnels, things like that are all great, but sometimes you do need to strengthen them. And that's where the good old wooden batten and any scraps of wood that you can find to shore up that polytunnel. A lot of the polytunnels, the cheaper versions of polytunnels and greenhouses, is very, very flimsy metal. You really do need to check the reviews on those polytunnels. The amount of times as a community we have seen those pictures of those poor people with their polytunnels blown down and destroyed, their greenhouses all crushed and crumpled and glass everywhere. A lot of those kind of things aren't actually fit for purpose. So really do make sure you read those reviews. But if you do get hold of a cheap one, you can strengthen it up with battens, making it more secure, making it less chance to actually blow away or get damaged in these strong winds. Now, another thing that you can do if you have a greenhouse. Now, this is our recycled build greenhouse. This is two greenhouses actually bolted together to give me a bit more of a bigger space for growing this year. But I didn't want to replace it all with glass. Glass is incredibly expensive, especially when you have to do large areas of this greenhouse. So, because over the last couple of storms we've had, these flimsy plastic panels have just been blowing out left, right and centre all the way across our allotment. It was driving me nuts. Every time we were able to get out to fix it, we had some more gusts of strong wind or another storm, and they were just popping out all over the place. And I got to a stage where enough was enough. So we bought some outdoor batten and we've actually screwed it into the frame, pinching the plastic in between. This has worked brilliantly, and in fact the last two big storms that we've had, it has survived really, really well. Now we have, obviously you can see on the roof, part of it is glass and part of it is the plastic, which again we've pinned down with those battens. Coming inside, you can see the whole one side, this side, we've had to replace with plastic because there was no way I could afford to actually glaze the whole of this. Now, the plastic has its pros and cons. It does go brittle with time, and you really do have to pin it, or maybe even use a little bit of silicone to actually secure it. But to be honest, I don't find silicone works that great. And at this time of year, it's not the best temperatures to be applying silicone, especially outdoors. It's better on a slightly warmer day, and it will cure much better than trying to do it in these temperatures. Now, I do think there is some silicone out there that you could probably do it in colder temperatures, but you really must check that bottle. Now these are secured with window pins as well, but the majority of this fixing is from these battens. Now, considering it's lasted the last 2 storms that we've had, I've actually got really high hopes that this is going to work for us. Another thing you've got to be mindful of is your bolts. Now, I am really bad for this. I don't do regular bolt checks on my greenhouse, but really we should, especially after windy weather. The wind can rock the frames, loosening these bolts a little bit, and over time they can loosen anyway. If you know you've got some storms coming or some wind, check your bolts. Make sure that these are nice and firm. Because if these become loose in the different areas, that's giving that greenhouse a little bit more movement. And over time, that's more and more movement. And then when the storm does hit, or even in some cases a small bit of wind, your greenhouse could be crushed, because it will just topple over and break, snapping and bending all your aluminium frames. Comes to planning your greenhouse, if you've not built one so far, or your polytunnel, maybe you really do need to think about your positioning. If you are on an open site, maybe trying to put it tucked away into a corner somewhere where it's got a little bit of protection from the wind. Maybe near a hedge or a fence. This will dramatically stop a lot of the wind damage. Having something in the middle of somewhere where it's going to get battered by all sorts of winds from all sorts of directions is really a recipe for disaster, unless you can build something super strong. Another thing to remember with your greenhouses is on windy days, make sure that you have got it fully closed. Having it fully closed will mean that the wind can't get inside and actually blow these panels out, or even the glass. You may have those small plasticky little grow tunnels, little seed starter things. They can be absolutely fantastic for setting off your seeds. But unfortunately, they will not withstand the strong weather that we have here in the UK at times. If you do use them, you're better off in the winter making sure through the windier months they're put away, taken down completely and stored away in your shed. Rebuilding it fresh in the spring, just before you want to start your seeds, is a good way to make them to last. But remember, sometimes these cheap things, yes, they have a purpose, but to get more than one season out of that product, you really do need to look after it and not expect it to survive some of the extreme weather that we have here. Another thing is you can use straps and ratchet straps and rope and to be able to tie something down. But again, that can help, it can make a difference. But sometimes if the wind is just blowing in that right space, it is going to fly off like a kite, and it is going to go and damage something else on yours or another person's growing allotment. Now, one of the things that does cause an awful lot of damage on your allotment is pots and anything that's going to be picked up by that wind and thrown about. Now, I've seen some pretty big things being thrown about the allotment. When we first came here, there was a massive polytunnel down the one end that had, I think it did have plastic on it. Now, it was a steel frame. It was quite a sturdy thing, but it hadn't been pegged to the ground. That got carried from the other side of the allotments all the way across. In fact, I think it landed 6 allotments down, causing an awful lot of damage as it literally blew across all the allotments. And as an allotment holder, we have a responsibility, as much as what we possibly can, to make sure that anything that we've got on our allotment is not going to damage anybody else's plots. I've seen these kind of pots and slightly heavier being strewn about and smashing greenhouse glass. It really doesn't take much, especially if it hits it just in that sweet spot. Now, when it comes to stormy weather and trying to protect our growing space, it's not just the wind, even though that can be a massive destructive part of growing here in the UK, especially recently. It can also be water damage. A lot of us are experiencing more and more floods. And here on our allotment, just underneath this compost soil mix, it is really dense, heavy clay and really does flood quite easily. When we first took on the allotment, we tried to add as much organic matter as possible, and we even added a lot of wood chip paths. When it comes to that mulch on your beds, it will really help slow down the rain. If you pour some water onto a hard clay surface, you will see that it runs off extremely quick. But if you try that with a nice mulched area, that scenario is a lot less likely to happen. The rain has to take a lot longer to go through all that material to hit somewhere where it is going to run away, slowing that water pooling down immensely. With this, that helps that material not being washed away and stops a lot of those muddy puddles happening on your growing space. So with all the rain that we get in the UK, especially over the last couple of years, you need to make sure that your soil is as free draining as possible. But if you get it really bad and your plot is flooded multiple times a year, having in-ground beds like this is really, really hard. In fact, it's really awful when you see some of these pictures that are circulated on the internet of people's plots flooded out. In general, the only way to combat that is to start somewhere else or to add raised beds. Now, raised beds doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stop all that, but it may be a little bit more protective. Now, when I say raised beds, you really are going to have to go about 2 foot or more in height for those raised beds, especially if you have a plot that floods. Now, I've seen some flooded sites that are several feet under the water, and to be honest, I don't think there's much you can do in that situation. But having those raised beds will really protect that soil, because what happens when you do get flooded, you are going to lose your beds 9 times out of 10. So having that raised beds will hopefully keep it above that water level, stopping it being washed away. If you have light flooding, you could also add some French drains, basically ditches that have been filled with gravel. Sometimes a pipe that's been embedded in that gravel that's full of holes, guiding any excess water away. Having it on certain areas of the plot, normally the lower levels of anywhere that you're growing, can work a treat. But these, in my eyes, when you are just renting a piece of ground, is a lot of money to spend. Now, it's not just the wind, the rain, it is also the snow conditions that we can get here in the UK. Now, we don't get it as extreme as a lot of parts of the world, but sometimes we can have a good flurry or two. And when you've got certain structures, like say the brassica netting cage from behind, and you're using any kind of netting, that can get broken very easy by just a small amount of snow landing on it. If you know that snow is going to hit your area, sometimes you are better off taking off that netting while it's snowing. Now, sometimes if you're growing brassicas, that's a bit of a risk, because even at this time of year, the pigeons love a tasty brassica. What you could be doing is creating a catchment for that snow, making the actual structure buckle, or actually landing on top of those tasty brassicas, probably snapping them or damaging them. It's not something that you really want to do. So by removing those before a snowstorm or any future snow can make a big difference, saving your structure for the rest of the growing year, so you don't have to start again. So what do you do to help reduce the storm damage on your allotment or your growing area? Do you go with the hedges around the outside to help disrupt the wind coming through, giving it a bit of a windbreak? Do you add a mulch? Do you add French drains to help with any flooding? Do you do the raised bed method? And how successful have you been keeping a greenhouse or a polytunnel from being destroyed on your allotment? Let me know in the comments. Maybe as a community we can help each other create an allotment space that is better designed, helping us all to enjoy the growing season a lot more.